Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. People no longer bound by their non-disclosure agreements. What can you now disclose? Funny story. Moments after I was unceremoniously fired because my tech skills were found to be insufficient, the bosses who fired me demanded to know the whereabouts of a hugely important computer file I had worked on. I refused to help them. I even cited the exact language of the NDA I was compelled to sign. I'm prohibited from disclosing details of my employment with anyone, including past and current employees of the company, I expounded, adding, so ask someone who works here, because I don't. It was a great f*** you moment that I still cherish 5 years later, but now I think I can disclose the truth. I only hid behind the NDA language because I had no clue where to find their damn computer file point or even where to look. I suck with computers. This checks out. How do you even get in this situation, LMAO? We need someone to manage these financial portfolios. You're a good CPA, so we're hiring you. Thank you. I can't wait to get started. Here's the offsite database we use, and here is the online portal we use to communicate with clients. What? The cake/cupcake shop I used to work for claimed everything was homemade, but used Pillsbury cake mix as a base. I read a thread, I think it was a confessions thread on AskReddit, where a woman who ran a super successful home bakery business was literally just using Pillsbury cake mix, and this is how I learned what Pillsbury was, as we don't have it in England. She had the odd hack or two, and was seriously good at decorating apparently, but she was essentially just using cake mix. She even talked about how she felt like a fraud, got nauseous about going to the grocery store, and hated the sight or taste of cake. I remember this. She would log in once every few years and give updates. Last I read, she stopped doing cakes because it became too much for her. My mom does cakes as a side gig, and while she makes her own frosting from scratch, she uses boxed cake mix that she too passes off as her own. Probably way more common than anyone lets on. There's a local fast food chain in my area with a super popular chocolate cakes. Widely known is that they use mayonnaise. Not widely known is that other than that it's 100% Betty Crocker cake mix with Dunkin' Hines frosting. I do the same. I can decorate beautifully, but it's just more efficient to use the box cake mix for consistency. It's not like the box has any secret ingredients. It's the same shit you use when you home make, just pre-measured and sifted. I worked at KFC in high school. You won't believe how many little old ladies would come in to buy a 12-piece bucket of chicken, then ask us to put it directly in their own pan instead of the bucket. My daughter also runs her own successful cake baking business as a side venture, and does very well at it. She uses Pillsbury or Betty Crocker exclusively for several reasons. Cost. Boxed cake mixes are inexpensive. Ease of use. When you have to get 20 cakes after a Saturday and you can't start until Friday night, it's a whole lot easier to open 20 boxes than hand blend all the ingredients. Customer satisfaction. People have a preconceived idea of what cake should taste like, and that's because most people use boxed mixes. It makes them more predisposed to really like what you sold them. Super common. I'm a chef and have seen this countless times. Pillsbury makes industrial size cake mixes for precisely this purpose. I'm a baker and I don't even really see this as the type of fraud people seem to. It's just all the dry ingredients pre-measured. If anyone wanted to, they could probably do an exact match with raw ingredients themselves. But honestly, it's the literal baking that a lot of people can't seem to do, and decorating a cake is next freaking level stuff. My graphic designer best friend won my town's Design the Centennial logo contest, despite having never set foot in the town. I worked for the radio station and just did an interview with one of the organizers where he lamented that there weren't very many entries. So I called my friend and said, "Want in on this?" He said, "Sure." As he lived on the other side of the country at the time, I spent the next day texting him photos of the town for inspiration. Anyway, when he won, and they found out he was a professional graphic designer who lived on the other side of the country, they made him and me sign NDAs because the town was afraid people would think they brought in a ringer. Edit. Wow, this kind of blew up. So let me answer some of the more common questions being brought up. 1. What's a ringer? A ringer is professional who's brought into a contest in order to guarantee favored results. 2. Why did I have to sign the NDA? Well, they unveiled the logo at a great big ceremony where they presented the prize money. I think it was a couple $100, and since my friend lived on the other side of the country, he asked if I could accept on his behalf. I wound up not going because we were broadcasting from another event that day, so the mayor accepted on his behalf. Free. Where is this? Canada, a small town in Alberta. That's all I'm comfortable sharing. How did they make you? They threatened to withhold the prize and you threatened to tell the public, which would be way worse PR-wise than what their loan wanted the NDA for. Presumably if they didn't sign the NDA, they wouldn't have picked the design. I dug up some ancient bones, gold, and Mycenaean tombs. I couldn't discuss the finds until the institution who ran the archaeological dig could publish the data. You can read about it here. Edit to add, I'm a classics student, not the one running the whole dig, but my role in it was very much legal and official lol. We knew to dig there because there was another tomb next to it, and it's located near a big Mycenaean Bronze Age palace. I only dug there for one summer, but it was a blast. If you're interested in archaeology, you should see if there are any local groups that you can volunteer with. I was a contractor for NASA. I still fully support the agency, but I was extremely bugged when I learned that each separate NASA center, for instance, JPL, Kennedy, American Englishes, Goddard, hides many of its inventions and breakthroughs from the other centers, so that when HQ is ready to assign a big mission and a lot of dollars to one center, they have a better chance to compete over the others. Look what we invented. American Englishes can't do this over there. Give us the next moon orbiter. The downside is that there is a ton of reinvention and duplicated efforts going on. Sometimes years of work go down the drain when another center does the same thing faster. My perspective was, you all work for NASA, share knowledge, collaborate. I was frequently ordered to tone down anything revealing when speaking to other centers. That's not at all different from how the big national labs used to work. The rivalry between Lawrence Livermore and Los Alamos is almost legendary. Supposedly they got better about sharing, but it wouldn't shock me if they were still up to the same hijinks. As a lawyer, I viewed a lot of these and taught settlements. The most common use of the NDA is to keep the award amount quiet so everyone won't sue the company hoping to get that sweet settlement money. Edit. Several people haven't me about their NDAs, and if they can talk about this or that, I'm not your lawyer. I don't give legal advice to non-clients. You shouldn't take legal advice from strangers on Reddit, but it's called a settlement because you settled the matter. Let it go. You got the hush money. Now do the hush. SMH. As a lawyer who represents plaintiffs that sign these settlements, I say over and over, do not go post this on Facebook. Don't tell your friends. Just say that it's resolved and you were happy with the outcome. Inevitably a week later I'll get an email from defense counsel with my client's Facebook link on some group we did it guys. Just got $XXXXXX. Edit. Lol wow. Biggest karma post of my life. To answer the question then what? In a general answer, it entirely depends on the settlement agreement. Maybe in the corporate world the settlement has to be returned, and the release of claims stands. There's a lot examples of losing a settlement agreement, but for our agreements, it would just nullify the agreement and put everyone back to square one, which would then likely settle again. So I just have to reach out my client, chew them out to remove everything, and then send a follow-up to defense counsel assuring them that it's not going to happen again. I like to add your friends and family will all start asking you for money. People will bring up old debts you owe them that you won't remember if they are real or not. Just keep it to yourself or you're going to hate it. This seems to work better than the threat of legal consequences for breaking an NDA. You know NDAs are only good if you have the money to sue. Worked with a company that didn't pay me, so I told them their NDA didn't apply. They threatened to sue. My response: you can't even afford to pay me. You sure as hell can't afford to sue. They also don't extend to keeping you from reporting illegal activity to the justice system. Some places may try to make people believe that, and may even try to imply it in the NDA, but it has no legal standing. When I was fired from Auntie Anne's in 2010, I signed a 10-year non-compete/NDA contract, promising not to detail the baking secrets or work for another pretzel establishment. Well, that ended this year, so now I can run out and start a pretzel store because the secret I was keeping was making pretzels literally requires 2 products, one of them being water and the other a large bag of pretzel meal / dust / powder. Quite literally anyone with $2,500 can start a pretzel stand and make perfectly fine pretzels. It's not difficult whatsoever. Edit. I signed the letter when I was hired, but I got a copy with my termination letter. Thank you very much for watching. In the comments under the video, write something on this topic, and also do not forget to watch our other videos. Bye.